Ayan. Grabe yung swatter.
Hi guys. Prank ulit ako.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg.
Is daga.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg.
Etong prank ko kakain ako. Tapos nalagay ko sa may foil.
What the fuck?
Para pagbukas nila. Ito. Tago ko muna yung camera guys. It's a prank time. Tatawagin ko sino kuha ng ulam.
2,000 years later. 6.5 hours later. A few inches later. Day 2, day 3, day 4. A few moments later. 1 eternity later. 3 days later. 12 seconds later. 3:28 a.m. 3 weeks later. Many months later.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Tomorrow for sure. Eventually, 12 o'clock midnight. 1 hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Meanwhile, 2 hours later, 8:01 p.m. the next day. Later, 20 minutes later, 6 hours later, several bad puns later.
70 years later.
Meanwhile, 6 hours later, later that same evening, several days later, 6 months later, 2 hours later, 4 to 6 weeks later, 1 minute 37 seconds later, 1 debt to society later, 1 pair of pants later, 8 hours later, 298 frozen patties later, 3 hours later, epilogue the next day. Meanwhile, at the Krusty Krab, 10 seconds later, 346 minutes later, much later, 3 days later, opening night later, 3,000 years later, 1 week later, 7:59 a.m. 3 weeks later, 3 days later, 2
Ito oh. Ay, meron ano? Ito ko naman sa tagtagis tayo. Ayun, sa apple mo. Bukang ina mo, hati.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg!
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg!
Ganyan yan.